Welcome back to today's video, guys. This is my 2006 Tundra, and I'm going to be replacing one of the things that be replaced right away when you buy Sequoia or Tundra, which is the lower ball joints. Now, the new parts are over here. 2 new lower ball joints for the front, 8 new bolts for the flange, 2 new castle nuts, and then 4 new cotter pins for the ball joint itself, and then outer tie rod. You smell that?
No.
My grandma's compost.
Yeah.
It smells like poop.
Oh, now I smell it.
So right now I have the wheel turned all the way to the right, so I have more easy access to this outer tie rod and the castle nut on top. And first, of course, you need to take off this this cotter pin, castle nut, and then use your ball joint separator to take off this tie rod. And under you have these 2 nuts on this side and the other 2 on the other side, and this big nut in the middle. Let me go ahead and take those off. Make sure you don't hit the boot so it doesn't destroy the boot. And it's out. This is 23 fits. 24? Oh my god. This is 24. It's pretty loose. No? Would have been stuck in ocean shores. With this suspension setup, the way that the arms are set up, it's called a double wishbone. And the way that the ball joint is positioned, it's being pulled almost like out of its socket. So over time, when it's fully worn enough and you hit a big enough bump, the ball will come out of its socket, and then the whole knuckle will slide this way and then destroy your brake lines, your axle probably, your ABS line, and probably your knuckle, and probably your wheel. So I put a jack under it to let me know when the ball joint separates from the arm. There, it's separated. It's not really loose, but it's not as tight as the other one. But still good. But it's better to be safe than sorry, because I do not want these falling apart on me. This is a trail spare. When you're replacing your ball joints, always replace these 4 bolts. They are one-time use, and they're like what, 10 bucks or 20 bucks for all 4. Now here's the new one, nice and clean. When I first got these, I didn't know if I was supposed to take off this roll of rubber piece. Ball joints are labeled left and right. This is currently doing driver's side, which is the left side, and with the L right there, right there. And yeah, I'm gonna put these back in. Red Loctite for these 4 bolts up here, and then probably one down here, even though it's held on by a cotter pin, and same thing on the tie rod. Now here's the new hardware. Now when I bought them from JoJo, they do come with red Loctite, but just to be sure, putting a little bit more at the tip so that when I screw it in, it brings the red Loctite all the way down the threads. Here's a new castle nut for the ball joint itself, and here's 2 new cotter pins that came with the kit from JoJo. What's the difference between the old ones and the new ones? Obviously the new one is like a lot more resistant. This one, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm doing a good example, but when you pull the new one, it stays in place. This one goes back. There's no play up and down or sideways. Obviously the new one is not gonna have any play at all. So yeah, you do keep this boot on. I don't know where I'm going with this, but not sure if I'm putting up. Ooh. I should probably clean it a little bit. Okay, so the torque spec for the 4 bolts, I keep getting numbers between 48 and 59, so I'm just gonna go with 60. I'm gonna go crisscross. 3 steering wheels off. 4. The torque spec for the tie rod is 67. And cotter pin. So this should be either 110 pounds, 103 pounds, or 117. So I'm gonna go in the middle, 110. or just enough so I can put the cotter pin in. So look, you see how this this bolt, it could get loose, so they designed it so you can slip a thing like this in, so you can just prevent it from slipping. You see it? Okay. There. So the driver's side is done. Let's get a closer look. Nothing really to show off, but just a quick glance at the sway bar end link. Cracked, the bushings all messed up. Could be something I replace in the future. No video needed because it's just like what, 2 bolts. But a closer look at this bushing for the shock. It is almost blown through. The bolt is not even in the center anymore. It's like towards the top. If you can see that kind of. But I am looking to upgrade these to the 6112s and the 5160s in the rear. It's a good idea to usually check your ball joints every oil change, and I'm gonna show you how people say to check it. So you grab a piece of wood like this thick. You're gonna put the piece of wood close to the wheel and then put your power bar in and apply some weight like this. You're trying to see if there's movement in the ball joint, so let's see if there is. No, the whole truck just moves, and there's no movement between the arm and the ball joint, so this should be good. But I'm just replacing it because I don't know when the last time they replaced it was, so that's how you check your ball joints. So I'm gonna go through all the steps really quick to take off this other side and finish up the whole truck. So first, 21 to take off your lug nuts. Take off the cotter pin for the tie rod. Alright, cotter pin's out. And I'll take off the nut for the inner tie rod, which is a 19. Put to the side. Separated. Cotter pin. Break off the big nut on the bottom with a 24. I'm gonna crank this one off a 17 mil, and hopefully it just pops. This one's super stubborn. And ball joints up. So now I'm brushed from like Harbor Freight. Good old Harbor Freight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this one should be 103 or 117 or whatever I said earlier. 70, 80, 90, 100, and 110. And even after you torque it and the holes don't line up, just do a little bit more just so you can get the holes to line up to put the cotter pin in. But if you bring the jack over to me, because the bolt inside is just spinning, I can't torque it. Alright. Let me see. Oh man, this should torque it right here. So the last torque number for the tie rod end is 67 foot-pounds. This, and then bend it up. Some of you might be asking, why don't I just replace the upper ball joint as well? And it's because in the future, when I lift this, I will just end up upgrading the upper control arm as well. So it'll just be a waste of money if I just, replace this as well. But just a quick test. Shaking the knuckle, it doesn't have any movement in here, so it seems. So should be good. I'll try to shake it left and right. And it still, seems really new. I'm gonna check out this driver's side just to be sure. No movement in the ball joint for the upper control arm. And same thing when I try to shake it or forward and backwards. So I need to replace that. In case you guys are wondering why I didn't torque it when the wheel was like on the ground, it's because that mostly just applies to bushings, I believe. Because if your arm is dangling like this and you torque the bolt and it holds the bushing in that spot, when you put the wheel on the ground and it's leveled out, it'll put a lot of torsional stress on that bushing. So that's why you're supposed to torque bushings when it's on the floor and not on jack stands or whatever. Now, if you're watching this video, I highly recommend that you go and check out your ball joints right now, just because your truck could be the next one that ends up on the side of the road, and I don't want that to happen for you guys. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one.